Hello everyone. This is just a quick video to update everybody at where I've been at. When it snowed here in Las Vegas last week, our internet got shut down. We've been down for about 5 days. We came back up Saturday for a couple of hours, but then it went back down. They gave us all kind of excuses, but I'm not going to go into that. I've gained about 50 new subs during my disappearance, and I'm trying to get caught up on comments, questions, emails, and all of that, and start getting some charts posted. Kim and I are both sick. We're coming down with the flu. She just went and laid down. She don't feel good. I don't either, really. I don't feel as bad as she does, but I definitely have the scratchy throat. We're running fevers. Our stomachs are queasy, that kind of thing. But it seems it's going around. Everybody's got it. Or if you're not got it, you're fixing to. And it's not fun. But needless to say, I'm functional, which is good. I'm not completely down. As long as I keep the fevers under control and get enough rest, we're okay. But to my new subs, let's answer some questions here. You want to know how to get to Inside 33 playlist. A lot of you, it's right here on my channel page. I put it in the artwork. Inside 33 Archive 11, lvt 11. There's also a playlist. A lot of you are telling me this link don't work. It works for me when I click it, but you can just hit the playlist button. Come into these are created playlists. You come down to saved playlist, and I have several in here, but it is lvt 11 lvt 11 Inside 33, and you can just view the full playlist. These are from previous channels that I own. There are 144 videos here. And it should, this is what I call my kindergarten classes, where I start at the beginning. I'm trying to show you how to think. Literally, to get this stuff, you have to think as children. We really, really overthink a lot of stuff. But the problem is our thinking is incorrect because of the programming. There has to be a new way of thinking, and it really is that of a child. You have to go back to before you learn the alphabet, when you're playing with squares, circles, and triangles. It's like building blocks all over again, and we have to go back to kindergarten. And I'm very thankful to Inside 33 for archiving those videos. I appreciate that. So when you go on this playlist and you watch these older videos and you comment on them, I don't get the comments. Inside 33 does. They're on his channel, not mine. I have yet to take the time to download them and put them back on my channel. I don't want to confuse people. I just leave it where it is. So when you comment there, I'm not seeing the comments. Understand that. Alright, a lot of you are asking me what books to read. What do I do? In every video, all you have to do is look in the description box. I'll leave you a link for an Alchemy Library that is really par none on the internet. And in that link are links within links to other libraries of ancient manuscripts. I'll leave you links to Stellarium. It's free. Download it. Learn to do this for yourself. Everybody could download Stellarium and at least find out what cross you're actually on. In tropical astrology, you're on one cross. In sidereal astrology, you are on another. Most of 23 out of 30 people have been what I call double crossed. A lot of my new subs are coming on telling me I'm this sign and this and this and this. And the first question I have to ask you is, are you sure? Have you done your homework? Have you actually walked outside and looked at where the stars are? Or are you depending on a 1700-year-old astrology that has nothing but in it but traditions of men? You will never understand astrology if you don't know alchemy. And you will never understand alchemy if you don't know astrology. They are one and the same. They walk hand in hand. That magic circle, that zodiac, is an alchemical circle that has one purpose. which leads me to what this video is about. Purpose. I'm going to come back around to this, but let's go somewhere else for a minute. I have a lot of you asking me, what channels do you watch? Let's go find out. I used to sub to everybody that was on my channel, but that's when I had a couple hundred subs. Now I'm pushing 3,000 subs. There's no way I can sub to everybody's channel. I just done it out of courtesy. Most of my subs don't even post. But I don't watch all of these. I love Intellectual Exercise. Great channel. They post all kind of stuff. And what they do is they'll take excerpts from really interesting audio books. And when what they're doing really is encouraging you to go read the whole book or listen to the whole book. But they take excerpts from it, just little short clips. Some of them are longer than others. Sometimes they post the whole book. So kudos to Intellectual Exercise. I love it. It keeps you, it's not about thinking. It's about learning to think in different ways. We've been taught to think in a linear construct, in the now and tomorrow. They've got a lot of us digging in the past. Suspicious observers. Most everybody who's anybody watches this, and please, flat earthers, hold your peace. I give credit where credit is due, and anybody that's looking up is eventually they're going to stumble upon the truth. Dave Nolan, really just one of my subs. You can see no views. Musician. I catch a couple of them here and there. I love Pam Oss. Pam Oss, she has eagles that visit her. They've been with her for a long time. So I always watch the eagles. The birds, the animals tell us many, many things that we can't know. Our connection to nature has been severed, and it's only getting worse with technology. But the animals are still connected. So to know that truth, we need to connect with them. I have a playlist of the Native American medicine cards. Again, they belong on another channel. When you comment, you're not commenting to me. It's in a saved playlist. Medicine cards. Go check it out. Check out the animals, the totems, and what they mean. Learn to pay attention to the signs and symbols that are all around you. The subconscious mind and the collective conscience works in symbolism. That's why the corporations, the media, the advertisers all use symbols. We're told in the Gospel of John 1, in the beginning was the Word was with God, the Word was God. All things were created by the Word, and was not anything that was created without the Word. And that word is logo. And logo is a symbol. It means power. And there is definitely power in the symbol. Why? Why is there power in the symbol? Because the subconscious mind and the collective conscious doesn't use language. It uses symbolism. And that symbolism is universal. We have many tongues, but we all have one symbolic subconscious. And the powers that be are currently perverting those symbols. We've all seen it, and we know what it's about. So I offer everybody charts. You can do your homework. The information is on the internet. Go learn the correct alchemical symbols and get your conscious mind in line with your subconscious mind. The subconscious will never speak language, but the conscious mind can definitely learn to speak symbolism. 2. Let's move along. Quantum of Conscience. Way ahead of the curve than other channels. He used to be Texas Shrugged. His name is Matthew McKinley. Very intelligent, a great thinker. One of the truthers that woke up to what I've been telling you, that the truthers have been played right into the hand of the elite, and they've done their homework for them. They're doing the work for them. They're indoctrinating people down many different rabbit holes. And I don't know if you know what a rabbit hole is, if you really understand that concept of what a rabbit does. I've been around rabbits, so I get it. Rabbits have unique traits. Their group, for one, they work in groups. You might only see one or two rabbits. They seem to be individual creatures. When they're just out in the wild, you never see them like in a whole group. That's rare. But they are in a group. You just don't see it. When they run along the ground, if it's what I call the scouts. Scouts go out and they work the perimeter. And if they see something, they thump the ground. They do that. And then they'll run about 10 feet and they'll do it again. Pow, pow, pow. And they're thumping the ground to tell the other rabbits what direction the danger is and what direction you need to be going. So the symbolism of the rabbit and following the rabbit, that's where it comes from. Now let's talk about rabbit holes. They're much like prairie dog holes. They work the same way. They're a network of tunnels under the ground. When I lived on the reservation, we had prairie dogs, and it would drive my dogs batty. I would sit there and watch them, and they would run after the prairie dog would go down a hole. Well, the dog's trying to dig in one hole, the prairie dog's come out the other hole, and he's watching the dog dig through the first hole. The dog don't see him, but he sees the dog. The rabbit hole only comes out the other side, and you're right back where you started. That's what a rabbit hole is. There is no prize at the end of the rainbow. There is no big collective underground. All holes go underground, but they also lead right back to the top of the ground, right back where you started. You're no better off than you were before. You just went through a tunnel. You've really not gained any knowledge about the perspective. The rabbit hole is for the rabbit is a place of safety. He digs that for safety because of the predators above ground. So the rabbit hole. Joni Petrie for Sidereal Astrology. I like her a lot. I think she's spot on. She has a great intuition for astrology. But also, I have to keep in mind that I understand all astrology has been tainted. That's why you must know alchemy. When you know alchemy, the truth of astrology comes out. And it has a purpose. It has a purpose. That magic circle has a purpose. And we'll get to what that purpose is. It is the purpose of the Philosopher's Stone, is what it is. More channels I watch. Nemesis Maturity always has the eye on the sky. Great info, great daily watch. They post at least a couple of times a week, and it's about what's coming up in the heavens from an astronomical and sometimes astrological perspective. But it's always a good watch. Keep in mind, a lot of people tell me, why are you saying Leo, the moon is in Leo when the moon is in Virgo? I challenge you. Walk outside, go by a telescope, and look up in the sky, and you tell me where you see the stars compared to what tropical astrology gives you. It's off by 23.5 degrees. As a matter of fact, after that last great tsunami, it is now off by 24.5 degrees. So, we have a great discrepancy there. I'm trying to get everybody on the correct cross. We're told to take up our cross and follow him daily. We've identified the stone the builders rejected. We know what cross to be on. We know what the true star to follow is. It upsets a lot of people on my channel, including other astrologers. I actually have a lot of other astrologers that watch my channel. Some of them comment to me, and some of them just post on their channels about it. But to me, tropical astrology is based on an astrology chart that was created 1700 years ago. It actually coincides with the very dates of when the New Testament was compiled or the Bible, was compiled at the Church of Nicaea. In my understanding, they were created at that exact same time. The zodiac symbolism has been since changed. We've discussed this. The zodiac we have, they call it Greco-Roman, but there are elements of Persian, Oriental elements amongst the symbols. There's a lot of symbolism in there from different zodiacs within Stellarium, within the star lore in Stellarium. You can learn all the zodiacs from around the world. We need as many perspectives as we can get. Where astrology is concerned, I literally went down every rabbit hole and came out the other side to the same thing. And what I learned was that it's alchemy, that it's a magic circle, we're in the middle, and its purpose is us. Its purpose is the philosopher's stone. Astrology brings you to understand yourself, to know where you're at in the alchemical growth of your existence, and how many times you have to spend here. There are 3 crosses. Those 3 crosses are mutable, fixed, and cardinal. In science, we can look at them as solid, liquid, and gas. The fixed cross, Aquarius is on the fixed cross. That means it's stable. Cardinal would be noble. It would be the noble. Cardinal air would be the noble gases, right? Cardinal air, the noble gases. And it just simply works out that way. The alchemical chart of symbols is the alchemical table of elements. The table of elements in science is based on the alchemical table of symbology. And it works with the subconscious mind. And it works with the universal mind that is based on symbolism. I believe that's why a lot of people say God is asleep or God is dreaming. Because it's not a language. It's symbolic. In your subconscious sees a symbol that's being projected from the television. And you are drawn to that symbol because it's part of your original cross, your true cross, not the one they've put you on. It's on the true cross, your symbolism. You have earth, water, air, and fire. Everybody has it. The question is it mutable, the adept? Is it fixed, the master? Or is it cardinal, the grand master? The Bible is an astrology book. Period. All religious books are astrology books. They're just encoded in alchemical terminology. And if you understood the alchemical terminology, then you would be able to decode it. They use the same words we use. They just simply have different meanings. Like Black's Law Dictionary. In Black's Law Dictionary, the definition for a person, the word person, P-E-R-S-O-N, means a slave. But we don't use it that way. You say, I'm a person. I have rights. I'm a person. But in Black's Law Dictionary, that means you're a slave. But in alchemy, per means house. You're the house of the sun. You're a star. Inside of you is a star waiting to be born. It's the philosopher's stone. It's turning that lead, that crown chakra of Saturn, lead, to gold, the sun. It's the philosopher's stone. We are becoming. The stars you see have become. They're actually us. We are projecting down here. We're up there, but we're down here. We have a body outside, but the true us is on the inside. It's like the Russian doll. There are just layers within layers. And it's all the same thing. Alchemy is astrology. It all runs from the subconscious mind of the cosmos. That's the script. The scribes scribbled the scriptures and gave us Bible at Babylon. The scribes belonged to the priesthood. The priesthood crowns the kings and gives him authority to get armies that make war. And they keep switching it around. They call it government, which means to control the mind. And that's their only objective. Both the purpose of the alchemical circle of the zodiac is to get you to become the philosopher's stone, to become the next star in the heavens. The opposite purpose of the false matrix, I call it, is just the opposite. It's to get you to keep recycling here. Don't ever become a star. Stay that person, that slave. They've redefined the tongue and the language. They scribbled the scriptures. The power has always belonged to the priesthood since we came. Religion is actually a manifestation of what we call Egypt. Religion is the opiate of the masses, and they control everything by it. In Stellarium, let's go there. Hold on. Get this back up here. All right. The master himself, Fomalhaut, Thalem, play on words. It's the lamb. Aleister Crowley used it as the Lama, but he was talking to Sirius, who's actually lying to him. So, Thalem, the lamb, this is the master. In Revelations, he tells you, this is the fixed cross. Thalem is the master. He tells you, I have the 7 stars in my right hand. The right hand on the fixed cross is the 7 stars of the Pleiades. The nail in his right hand is Aldebaran. The nail in his left hand is Antares. It's a great eagle. They stole this from the Persians. They didn't want you to see the eagle. There was a point in time where the eagle became a bad symbol, and they had to hide it. So did Libra. Libra was the same way. It was a bad symbol. They had to hide it. And hide it they did. And I've done all the videos. You just simply must watch them. At the foot of the cross is Leo. The nail in his feet is Regulus. It's the heart of the lion. It's the heart of the matter. It's where the eclipse happened last year. It's where the supermoon and its closest point to the earth in 70 years happened just this past month. It's on the fixed cross. It's the stable. It's the stable cross. The Nag Hammadi calls it the immovable, unshakable race of humanity, those on the fixed cross. They're the masters. The cardinal cross is the grand master. It is the words in the Bible that translate to the cardinal cross are divine, most high, almighty, right? There are 4 almighties: earth, water, fire, and air. You got to know which element you're talking about. First, you have to decide what element, and then you need, when you're reading a verse, you need to figure out which cross it's talking about. Now, every story that's ever been told, or ever will be told, is all in the heavens. He tells you, I've come to tell you what is, what was, and what will be. And it's all here. It's the heavens speaking. Above the zodiac, I believe the sun used to be way up here, and that we're literally spiraling downwards, because these are the stories of the Greeks. Now, there is the thing where the sun goes up and down. It snakes. So it's very likely we get to one lower point, and then we move back up into these stories. But at some point, depending upon the perception between the sun and the earth, this story is told. The planets, the sun and the moon, are like needles on a record player. And each one of them is playing a song simultaneously. And each song is connected to us. And the song changes as each player moves into a different house. But there's one song that dominates them all. We have one song that's been playing since they came out of Egypt, or out of Taurus into Aries, since the peoples changed the ages here. and that's religion. And that's what this is down here. This is the beast that came up out of the water. The water he came out of was over here in Cancer, actually, because it was old knowledge that had been dug up, and it was reinstituted. This is the beast out of the water. Over there, it's the serpent. You also have the beast that came out of the earth. The beast that came out of the earth is Freemasonry. Black and white, Pisces and Taurus. Religion. You have the black pope, who rules Freemasonry, and the white pope that rules religion. And they both work from right here in this star called Al-Reshka. And it's the tie that binds. It's the knot. It's the leash on religion, this beast out of the water. It's called Leviathan. Leviathan is a coded word. You can say Athon Levi. It is the god of the Levi's. Right here. The sheepfold moves. The Pleiades is called the flock in Egyptian. The flock comes out into Aries, and they land in what I call the church. This is the church, or the synagogue of Satan is the church. All churches, all religion are run by Satan. Satan is the god of this world age, which is Pisces. That would be Jupiter. Jupiter would have you believe that Saturn is Satan, simply because in English, that was the name given to Saturn. Saturn is Kronos. Has nothing to do with Satan. He is time. There is no death. The Grim Reaper, that was for the harvest. The harvest and the esoteric is of souls. And the souls graduate. Souls graduate. This is school. There are 100 constellations and one hidden constellation. It's called 101. To me, this is the freshman year of college. To really, you want to know everything? You want to know everything? Then you have to learn every constellation, regardless of where it's at, and every tongue around the world. The body of Osiris was divided. Everybody was given a piece of it. And you have to put the body of Osiris back together. Now, that has been done. They've done that for us. We're looking at the body of Osiris. But they could not find the phallic. So they created one. And the one they created was Sirius. And it runs from Sirius through the stars Soph and Ion. This is the Ion Soph from Judaism. The Ion Soph of Judaism. I'll say it again. Or Zionism. I don't even know if I want to call that Judaism, because there's a difference between Zionism, which is really Babylonian. It has nothing to do with Judaism and the truth. Babylon is this name of this beast that the scribes scribbled right out of the water and sold us the story. Ion, here, this star in the eye of the bull, Ion, is the evil eye. It's Oculus Boreas. It's the evil eye. It's the black eye, the left black eye ceremony of Freemasonry. That's all it is. But Fomalhaut is the stone the builders rejected. They didn't want any part of it. It didn't rise in the sky where they needed it to. It wasn't part of their power structure. Well, it's fixing to be, because he's got them in his right hand. And when he comes into power, it will all be set right. When this comes into power, everybody's third eye is going to open. Jupiter rules Pisces. Saturn rules Aquarius. We're going from the second chakra to the crown chakra. We haven't seen the crown chakra since the age of Capricorn. We've been under a spell of Jupiter since the age of Sagittarius. And he always teams up with Mars, fire and water. They simply just change places. One becomes the other. One rules fire in an age, the other one rules water. And they do that with the sun and the moon. The sun, the moon, Saturn, and Jupiter and Mercury. Now, Jupiter and Mercury's fixing to have a really bad day. Probably the worst day of their whole existence of ruling the age of Pisces on the mutable cross. Jupiter rules Pisces. Across from that, Mercury rules Virgo. They're in charge of this whole thing. This is not the Virgin Mary. The Virgin Mary is Cancer. She's the matriarch, the divine feminine, the Mother Mary. This is the other Mary. This is Mary Magdalene, or the woman with the alabaster box, who washes his feet, Regulus, with her tears and dries it with her hair. That makes this John the Beloved, the three people that showed up at the foot of the cross. Now, Cinderella here, Mary Magdalene, the other Mary, whatever you want to call her. I call her Cinderella or Olive Oil, depending on who's here, right? She kind of changes characters or masks a little bit, depending upon what star or what planet enters her constellation. When Mars is here, she's like Olive Oil, and he's Brutus. She's Rapunzel, and he's the wicked one who put Rapunzel in the castle to spin gold. That's who this is. Now, because Mercury rules here, and Pisces, Jupiter is ruling here, they're in control. They have the feminine axis and control of this age and the mutable cross. Let's go to the bad day for them. 11, actually we can go to 21 and back up. (2020) Saturn-Jupiter conjunction on the winter solstice. This is the day, people. This is the one we've been waiting on. If we've got a chance to make a change from this evil negative that's taken over this construct, this is the day that it begins. And it sets us up for 20 years that we'll have to do it. So pay really close attention. This is what my channel has been about since the beginning. Since 2008, I've been telling you that 2012 was not the marker. 2012 was the distraction. As a matter of fact, it was 8 years between the winter solstice of 2012 and the winter solstice of 2020. And 8 is the symbol of infinity. It's a Mobius strip. And if you understand a Mobius strip, what it is a circle that's been twisted so that one side mirrors the other, as above, so below. Now, why is this a bad day for Jupiter and Mercury? Mercury's in Jupiter's house of ideology. He's the messenger. He's combust of the sun on this day. That combustion will debilitate him for 20 years. I almost think of this in the book of Revelations. There are two verses that I really need to understand. And one is there's a silence in the heaven for the space of 30 minutes. 2, it was the voice of the seven thunders. When the seven thunders uttered their voices, John was not allowed to write. Those two things have been hidden from us. The silence of the heavens and the silence of the seven thunders. Mercury will be combust of the sun here. There will be no message from heaven for 20 years because it's happening on a double generational marker. The first one being the winter solstice. The second being the Saturn-Jupiter conjunction that marks every generation every 20 years. And the Saturn-Jupiter conjunction here is happening in Saturn's house of cardinal Earth, the Most High, the Divine. It's feminine. It's the house of government. And Jupiter happens to be debilitated here. Both Mercury and Jupiter, the power of this age of the mutable cross, will be shut down for 20 years. They're going to be pushed to the bottom of the pole. This is going to be your chance. In 2020, in the Saturn-Jupiter conjunction, the door to the Black Lodge opens. The Black Lodge is the subconscious mind. It works in symbolism. Pluto represents the subconscious mind. Uranus represents the conscious mind, and Neptune represents imagination. When that door to the Black Lodge opens and Pluto's there, you're going to be manifesting your future based on symbolism. That's why they are saturating the media with pedophile and pedivore symbolism. They have spent the last 10 years putting Baphomet statues everywhere, perverting the symbolism of Pan. Pan, the goat man, Aquarius, Capricorn, the goat man. And they made him the man goat, Baphomet. They perverted it. It's simply Pan. They perverted everything so that you will manifest the monsters of the id. Again, I'm going to say this. If you don't know what the monsters of the id, please go watch the movie Forbidden Planet. It can't cost you over $5 to stream it anywhere. It will be the best $5 you've ever spent if you don't know what monsters of the id are, because it's creating from the subconscious mind your current reality. And it will create the current reality for everybody for 20 years. So we must know the symbolism, the correct symbolism, or you're going to manifest monsters like Baphomet instead of gods like Pan. And they will also have you believe Pan is bad. Understand, for 2,000 years, who's been in control of all the information? One is the priesthood, Jupiter, and Mercury. And it's mutable. Mutable means it changes. And indeed, we've watched it change. The Vatican will change its storyline every time they get a new pope. Well, now, all religions are not just being run by the Pope, but by the Black Pope. They're all black now. There is no white left. It's been consumed. Ouroboros, the snake, has eaten itself. It's done. They're done. But here's our opportunity, and they know it. So they've spent actually the last 20 years, since 9/11, they have been on a dead set to confuse everybody, send you down any rabbit hole you can, divide you, separate you, pervert the symbolism, whatever they can do, so you can manifest their hell on earth for the next 20 years. And they've played every card they've got. I hate it for them, because it don't matter. We might manifest the monsters of the id. Many of you will, that have not done your shadow work, that have not faced your demons. You have not asked yourself the tough questions of why I hate this. It's like the vegan argument that ends up on my channel all the time. You know, I don't mind that you voice your opinion about anything on my channel. But if you bring it with hate, anger, then I don't want no part of you. I don't care what you're selling. I don't care if you're selling the only salvation that'll get me out of this place. If you're coming at me with hate, anger, belittlement, I'm done with you, because you are manifesting the monsters of the id. You've not faced your own demons. You're out trying to evangelize the world. Let me tell you something about evangelism. It's from the pit of hell. The road to hell was paved with good intentions, my friend. You just don't recognize. These people will get on any train that comes in the station without a clue of its destination. You better know where you're going and what track you're on and what junction, function you're hooking up to on these trains. Because anything you bring, if you bring it with hate, malcontent, you're coming from the pit of hell itself doing it. If you're not coming from a place of love, oh, I love the animals, but I hate you. No. It's not what goes into a man's mouth that defiles him, it's what comes out. And when hate comes out of your mouth, that tells me exactly what's in your heart, what's in your mind, and what's in your subconscious mind. And I know exactly what you're going to manifest in 2020. And I'm trying to help you to not do that. Face your demons. Ask yourself, why do I hate people that eat meat? Why do I hate them? Can't I just accept them for who they are? Can't I show them in a loving way? I hate people that can't see 9/11. I'm sorry. They just simply don't have eyes to see. Some don't want to see. Others never will be able to. It's not part of their script. Now, as far as evangelism goes, I don't care what you're peddling. When it comes to truth and salvation, that's the Holy Spirit's job, is to cultivate and evangelize, not yours. It's the job of the Spirit. It's that part of the real matrix that the false matrix can't produce. So they get you to do it, and they call it evangelism. You see, the real matrix is alive, and it has a spirit, and it talks to us. But most people are plugged into the false matrix, and what they're hearing comes from a place of separation, hate, division, aggression, mostly separation. They want to compartmentalize us, put us into groups, fragment us, when our power is in one, the collective conscience, and the real power is in the collective subconscious, where we manifest from these symbols. The power is in the logo, the word. But the word's been perverted. You see, we're just supposed to plant seeds. What people are doing with their ideologies, we're talking about Sagittarius here, dealing with your demons, ideologies, your belief system, Pluto and Saturn currently here, and I'm speaking for Pluto and Saturn when I tell you this. What you're doing, regardless of what your ideology is, whether it's flat earth, whether it's veganism, whether it's the Mandela effect, we live in a matrix, it doesn't matter. If you put the seed in the ground and then you start cursing the ground, does that make the seed grow? Because that's what you're doing. You come to people's channels, you make comments, or you make videos of your own, and you want to plant the seed of this truth that you've learned into other people. And to make them accept it, you start condemning them, belittling them, telling them how worthless they are, how wrong they are, and how right you are. And I can't tell you, you bought into the lie when you do that. You're running off the construct, the programming of the false matrix. You do not put a seed in the ground and then curse it. You put the seed in the ground, you love it, and then you walk away. And you let the Holy Spirit do its job. Nature itself, the ground, the water comes, and the ground will grab the water and saturate the seed. And the seed will sprout, and then the ground will begin to nourish the seed as it reaches for the light at the top of the ground. It's funny that magnetism pulls us down, right? Everything, gravity, whatever you want to call it, not getting into that argument, but we are either pulled down or pushed down. But a little plant can defy that gravity, just the tiniest of sprout, and work its way towards the heavens. And that's what truth can do. And truth is built on the word, the cross of Ruth. And Ruth is the opposite of ruthless. Ruth is compassion. Truth is the sign of compassion. And if you get that and deal with those monsters, then in 2020, you can manifest your daydreams. Get your symbolism right. Get your shadow work done. Stop listening to the traditions of men. Stop trying to play parts that don't belong to you. Get off the damn cross if you're on the wrong one. First and foremost, make sure you're on the right cross. I've showed you the dates. I've done the videos. You can download Stellarium yourself. Stellarium is hooked to every observatory on the planet. Every one. Many of you have observatories in your town. You can shoot Stellarium straight out of the observatory that you're in. You can look from anywhere. You can go on Stellarium. This is just fascinating to me at how we do this. But we can actually leave planet Earth. We can go to Calypso. And we can look at, here we are on Calypso. It's give us a set of coordinates that are the same coordinates on Earth as the same coordinates on Calypso. Let's do it to the moon. We can actually say, I'm on the moon. If I'm on the Earth here, then if I'd have been on the moon, let's get it, then this is where I would have been born. How about that? I can't tell you. Stellarium is everything you need but the symbolism. If you'll just go learn the symbolism within Stellarium, we can look at the heavens from any point of any planet. We can go to the moons of Jupiter or Saturn or any planet, Pluto. This is the view from Pluto at the same coordinates. And this is its view from the heavens at the same coordinates. And here's its moon. Look, it's even showing you its own moon. Charon. There's your rose of Sharon. And it turned everything upside down. Everything's upside down from Pluto. Pluto is the subconscious mind. I want to make you people think, but not in a linear way, not even in a cyclical way, but in every way possible. You need to look at this thing from all directions. It's like flat Earth. First we went through hollow Earth. Now we're going through flat Earth, domed Earth. But if you put them all together, you get an eyeball. The Earth is round, it's flat, it's domed, it's hollow. It's all of the above. But if you get caught in one truth and you start slinging it at people in a hateful manner, then that ain't truth at all. That's truthless. It's the sign of ruthless, when you need to be full of compassion if you want to share truth. So please speak your piece on my channel. But if you do it in an ugly manner, you're not going to like me. That's all I'm going to say. And to me, you're part of the problem. That's why fear porn is bad. It pushes you to the negative chakra. If you're strong enough to where you know the symbolism and it don't faze you, if you can watch fear porn without having an emotional reaction, it doesn't make you angry. It doesn't make you afraid. You're just, okay, more fear porn. Yeah, move on. Okay, well, that's what they're doing to the people now. But if it evokes an emotion in you to where you want to run out and chop somebody's life to the ground with your tongue, your axe, then you're part of the problem. You're doing exactly what the elite wants you to do. They didn't have to hire a bunch of people to come out and spread it all over the internet. You did it for them, free of charge. As a matter of fact, it's unapproved by Google and YouTube, so you can't even collect monetary on it. You're doing it for free. You're giving your time, your Saturn, all away, and you're working for the dark side. We're coming to a time, let me put us back on Earth here. We're coming to a time where, well, that's where, I'm shooting from Las Vegas, so that's where Las Vegas would be on Pluto, by the way. Let's take us back to Earth. It'll take us, even Earth Observer. Oh, that's cute. I guess that's from the moon. Earth Observer. Okay, back to the Earth. Let me change some symbolism here. There we go. But y'all got till 2020 to get your shadow work done. A lot of you don't understand what that is, but it's asking yourself the big questions. Why do I believe what I believe? Why do I think what I think? Where does this information come from? How do I... I like to have what they call two witnesses, right? I need two witnesses. If you're going to come at me with a theory or whatever, you need to give me more than one source for me to even consider it. I need at least two witnesses. And my two witnesses are astrology and alchemy. And they've laid dead in the streets of Jerusalem for how long? Ooh, the time of the Gentiles is fixing to be fulfilled. A lot of people want to say, they're Israel or they're the Jews. Well, a Jew is only one tribe. A Jew is actually only the tribe of Leo. And that tribe means confusion. Right? If you're a Jew, you are so in confusion. And that's exactly what John the Beloved was. There he stood at the foot of the cross. He had the courage of the heart of the lion. He's the only apostle that showed up at the crucifixion. But he's definitely in confusion. He does not understand why the Messiah is being crucified. Wasn't what he saw coming. So this is Judah. This is the only symbol for Judah. And in alchemy, it's a symbol of fixed fire. It's stable fire. It's that outer light, that aura, the glow, the Shekinah glory, that outer fire of the sun, ruled by the sun. This is the sun's house. The sun's dark on the inside, by the way. The outside only produces light because it is like a kinetic static energy from friction. It's built up from friction. It's a static reaction of friction is the only reason we see light from the sun. It's dark on the inside. You've all been in there. You just don't remember. It's the portal. It's a gate. It's a star gate. And your whole purpose is to become a star or a gate as well. Mars is always bad here. We've got an explosive time coming up. Let me come back to today. That's 2020. Because we've got Mars coming. Oh, Mars in Aries now. Yeah, here it goes. Uranus will be here on the 19th. Let's see if on 3/19. Will Mars be out of there? Yeah, Mars will be out by then. He'll be in Taurus. Bring it back to today. Watch out for volatile emotions. This is cardinal fire. This fire here is supposed to be a fire of purification. But there's a duality to everything. The tree of knowledge and good and evil in the garden is the tree of duality. It's understanding duality. It's understanding that this is the fire of purification. But that same fire can burn you to the damn ground and destroy you. Or, at that point, if it does that, the only way out is to become the phoenix, which is the fire out of the ashes. The bird out of the ashes. And a bird is a representation for an air sign. All birds, feathers, things associated with birds, all birds are associated with an air sign. Like Minerva and the owl. That would be Libra. They've casted that with Libra. And then you have the birds of Gemini, the crane, several of them that were used in the Egyptian pantheon of birds for Gemini. And then, like the Native Americans, they have the full headdress, right? The feathers are the birds here. The feathers are on the feet in Gemini. Nike is Mercury, right? He's the messenger, Nike. And he has the feathers on his feet, Nike. So that's Gemini. The feathers on the back is Libra. She's the angel, right? Or he. It's masculine, actually. It's a masculine angel. He's got wings on his back. He can fly into the heavens. He's Libra. And then we have the Native American with the full headdress. The feathers that go from his head all the way to his feet. That's the crown chakra. Saturn, air in Aquarius. All three represented by birds and feathers, but it's where the feathers are that tell you which air sign is being discussed. The eagle is always going to represent Scorpio, and we know that from the New Testament in the book of Revelations. And I saw in heaven an air sign, and I saw a creature, and it had the face of a man, Aquarius, the face of an ox, this is the fixed cross, the face of an ox, Taurus, the face of a lion, Leo, and the face of a scorpion? No, it's an eagle. They hid it. That's why in every play, in every book, and in every movie ever written about Julius Caesar, the opening line is him screaming at the top of his lungs, "Where's my eagle?" Because they changed the zodiac and they hid the symbol of power. This is the left hand of the fixed cross. It's also the tares. It's the Antares. It's the tares. I know that's going to mess a lot of you up. And no, if you were born a Scorpio, you're not a tare. It's the age. It was the age when the tares were planted. Understand that. And it was done by Mars and war. That's how all planting's done. Alexander the Great, that was his strategy of war. It's another good thing to do is learn chess. 2, learn all ancient arts of war. Every great culture wrote a book about the art of war. Alexander the Great, he understood. When he came into a place, he displaced people. He uprooted everybody in that town, made them move to the next town, and planted them there while he uprooted them and just moved it on. Everybody had to, it was like musical frickin' chairs. And that's how he controlled everybody. He stripped their knowledge, you displace them, and you put them in a place they're not comfortable in. And then they have to adapt. They become submissive. That's what's happening now with the migration. They're forcing it. And it's Jupiter and Mercury forcing it, by the way. They rule this mutable cross. It's Jupiter and Mercury. Mercury's actually debilitated here in Jupiter's house. Mercury is in debilitation now. That means no message, no voice. Debilitation means weak. When a planet is combust of the sun, that means it's being oppressed from an outside force. It's not necessarily weak, it's just the sun's got its thumb on it, and it's not allowed to talk. Retrograde means it's backwards, it's reverse. You got to do the verse again. You've got to reverse in this universe. There's many verses. This is a magnificent multiverse. But if we were all on the same page, it would be a universe. The word Catholic means universal. You really need to know where words come from. I always leave a link below for Etymology online. It used to be a good resource. It's not anymore. They have stripped it down. They tore that platform all to pieces, and it's really hard to find anything there anymore. But where all the major planets and all of that are concerned, I've already done those videos. You will find them in my earlier videos and on Inside 33 playlist, 11 Levet 11, to where I got it on video before they destroyed it. So it is there for posterity. Go watch them. Learn about the tongue, the language. I was talking about this morning, and it's come to mind, so I'm going to bring it up again. In the book of Revelations, we are told about the mark of the beast. And we're told that it has to do with money, and that it has to do with the buying and the selling. You can't buy or sell without the mark, right? Well, there's a problem with that whole sentence. Because in the Greek, which this is where that comes from, it's out of the Greek, not its original tongue, which would have been Aramaic. In the Greek, they add articles and pronouns. Gender is built into the word. So there is no he, she, him, her. It's all it. It doesn't designate masculine or feminine. It's just a word that is telling you to look back at the subject. We're still talking about it, the subject, it. Well, there are also words like you can't buy or sell save he who has the mark. That word or, that's not there. To me, hold on. Some would say saved by the bell, but to me that was a distraction. Okay. Buy or sell. It's buy to sell. You can put any damn article there you want because there's not one there. And when you buy to sell, that's a retailer. And indeed, a retailer must, in order to buy to sell, you must have a tax number that you have in your right hand or in your head. When you go to check out of the wholesalers, they have to have your ID number. That's been here. You can't buy to sell a product. It's the wholesalers. They're selling the whole. It's the magic hole. W is a symbol for magic. It's a magic hole. There's nothing there. They're the middleman. The middleman, we need to go to our own middleman, which is our own third eye. Fomalhaut represents the third eye and the middleman in the heavens. And they've given us their middleman, right? Their middleman is the thief. When they put you on the cross, that shifts who the middleman is when they put you on the wrong cross. You need to know where you stand. Everybody needs to know where they stand, what cross they're on. That determines what you should be doing while you're here. Where your growth needs to be. We're all becoming. We're this little spark. We're the thought in the mind of God, and we're just one little spark. But with the right nurturing and the right care, that spark can become a star. But people get so caught up on the reality. It's flat, it's round, vegans and meat. It's just crazy at what all's going on. And nobody's paying attention to the middleman. There's a false one and there's a real one. And we are actually embracing the wrong one in all cultures around the world. This has been going on for a very long time. Eons, ages before the flood. It's always been this way since the sun left Capricorn. That's why they demonize Saturn, Capricorn, Aquarius, Baphomet, Pan. They're doing anything they can to make you symbolically afraid of these symbols. So it keeps you in the root chakra when you should be moving to the crown chakra. And in there is no fear. No fear there. You learn there's no death. There's no such thing as death. The only death there is the death to this awful existence you have to be in. You get to, if you do it right, you get to go to the land of milk and honey. Or you're going to end up in the lake of fire and brimstone. There's only two choices. With Saturn, everything is almost black and white. There's only two choices. Saturn rules old age and the golden age. This is his circle. He rules alchemy. He rules astrology from Aquarius. He rules you reap what you sow, the law of equivalent exchange, which has nothing to do with the age of Pisces. Everybody's running around wanting justice, justice. That's not fair. There's nothing fair about the age of Pisces. It's mutable. It's the age of grace. Literally, everybody gets a free ride, including the bad guy. All they got to do is believe. And it's the whole age of belief. If you believe, you can manifest anything, right? That's what this age is about. And they've got us manifesting. Our nightmares are their daydreams. Our daydreams are their nightmares. And I think we have danced to their perverted piper too long. I'd rather dance to Pan than Baphomet. Matter of fact, in Baphomet, they don't even show you the flute. Why the flute? Why does Pan have a flute? Because the Native Americans use it. It's a wind instrument. It has to do with the element of air. How about that one? That's his symbol for air. Pan doesn't have feathers, but he has a flute. The bass, the percussion instruments, they all belong to the lower chakras of Mars. That's why you have the drums of war. Now they're trying to demonize the pan flute while they're shoving the drums of war down your throat on every radio station. They even write songs about it. It's all about that bass. The bass. The bass. Politicians, they have their core base, right? They have their base voters. We need to learn language. You know, speaking of that, been having a problem. Let's see if I can get this to do this. One of my subs brought up the fact that, yeah, I hate the word bless and I hate the word pray. Those two most of all. Because one makes you be less and the other one, you prey on your victim. So, instead of be less, we did he or she, I'm actually not sure. But instead of be more, right? Instead of be less, we can be more, but we can be amore. Be amore instead of be less. That's be love. I love this. So I'm going to start be amore you all. Be love. And then for pray, to pray on you, to pray is to intercede for somebody. That's intercession. It's standing in the gap. And here it victimizes when you pray. But if you enter seed, you plant the seed. You go play farmer. You enter the seed. You intercede. Don't pray. Intercede and be amore. And most of all, always, well, don't do it. Carry the sign of Ruth, which is compassion. And within compassion is also compass. You can encompass. It's comped. It's passionate. It comes with passion of amore. I love you all more than you could ever know. More than you could ever know. But don't be ruthless in your truth, because that ain't truth. That's all I'm saying. Be kind to one another. Go commit that random act of kindness. There is joy in giving. And let me tell you something. A lot of people have trouble receiving. I used to. It was one of my lessons to learn. Till I learned that if I was unable to receive, then I was denying them their gift of giving. That it goes hand in hand. It's part of the duality. And that I was robbing them of their joy of giving because I was unable to receive. This is a lesson Kim is having to learn right now. And it's a big one. We all must learn this lesson. To learn to receive. Because we are denying the others the joy of the giving. And there is great joy in giving. You will find no greater joy. No greater joy. It's like a mother giving life to a child. There's no greater joy than that. It's the giving of yourself to others. Your time, your kindness, your patience, your compassion, your amore. So go be amore and be kind to one another. If you can't, there's enough evil in this world, you shouldn't have to look for a place to be kind. But in case you're just bombarded with a lovely life, then you can still create acts of kindness where none exists. Just go, let's make this construct a better place. Please, everybody learn your symbolism. Get it nailed down. That way you're not duped in 2020 and you're not manifesting from the lower chakras. You can manifest from a place of love, a place of compassion, a place of truth.